Morning, everyone. Ed Dudley with We Are Connected, coming at you again with another connected conversation. And I'm excited today. I have probably one of the most impactful individuals I've ever met online with me, Mr. Rob Shields. How are you, sir?
Hey, good morning, Ed. I'm good. I'm here.
Yeah, you're here. You're making a difference, man. So appreciate you getting on time online with me today and just have a quick little chat conversation. I'd love to introduce you to some of the people that may not know you, and I think everyone in the Durham area knows who you are and what you're doing over there at ReCity. But you can just introduce yourself and what you do.
Yeah, happy to do that. Rob Shields. I think I'd introduce myself first as a husband and a father. So I've been married to my wife for 9.5 years, got 4 little kids. And I say little because I know how little they are when you're stuck in quarantine with toddlers, right? Like you're like, oh man, I wish these kids would grow up faster than they are doing right now because it's getting a little crazy at 3 months into quarantine. But by day, I'm executive director of ReCity Network, which is a nonprofit collective and collaborative based in downtown Durham that really focuses on being a hub for social impact. That would probably be the buzzword that people would use, but I would say that what really permeates ReCity is this sense of justice and really making sure that we're doing everything we can to build more just communities and doing that together. And I think now is in this current moment, we're seeing the need for what does it look like when we experience injustice and just how far we have to go to see thriving happen for everybody in our community. So it's an important work, privileged to do it, but also it's a sobering moment to be in the justice space right now.
Yeah, yes, it definitely is. So, one of the questions that I'm asking everyone, at first, when I first started, it was like, how are you faring and doing during COVID? And now that conversation has expanded a little more. The first 6 months of the year have just been challenging, to say the least. But overall, how are you doing in your ReCity community?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that sigh right there, I don't know if you catch it on the microphone, but that might be the best way to sum it up, Ed. I'm exhausted. I think our community is exhausted. Our network is exhausted. When you set out to build an intentionally diverse network and you want to encourage people to show up as their full selves, you have different people with different lived experiences bringing different past trauma with them of experiencing injustice. And I think we're processing this communally right now. And it's painful, Ed. I mean, I'll tell you, it is painful. Although as a white man, I don't have the same lived experiences as my friends and coworkers of color. I feel like I'm starting to absorb even just a small microcosm of the trauma that there is their lived experience, and it is incredibly painful as I try to seek to empathize with their reality. So I'm trying to take it day by day. I'm trying to cling to hope that we could build a different future, a more just future in our communities. But it's I'll be honest, man, when you turn on the news and when you see the horror and the I struggle to find the words for what to describe what we're going through right now in this current moment. But the saddest part I would say is that it's not new. That this is not, you might have people who are being awoken to the realities that we're facing right now, but usually those tend to be people like me, white people who have lived and have not lived through the same things as people of color have. And so it really feels like a time where we're going through a national reckoning. And it's a sobering moment.
Yeah. So in the midst of all of this that we're going on, have you personally found a silver lining?
I think the silver lining I struggle with that question because I want to avoid, there's this spiritual term of lament, right?
Yeah.
Where, if you come to issues of justice through a spiritual lens, you might be familiar with that. I bring my Christian faith into my work with me, recognizing and holding space for people who do not share that perspective and saying we can still link arms together, even if we don't see eye to eye or carry the same convictions. But that very much centers me in my work, Ed. And also what it does is it frees me from maybe necessarily having to have a silver lining right now. When you look to the Christian scriptures of, there'll be times where very dark days where people cried out to God and they didn't have answers. And God didn't provide them real quick either. And I think that's okay. I think especially as white people, I think white people need to come to grips with the fact that there aren't easy answers to some of these questions. And I'm struggling. I think I'm come to peace with the fact that I don't want to rush to a silver lining right now, because that almost feels like it's putting hand sanitizer on the surgery that would be required, right? And I don't want to sanitize these problems, Ed. I think we have too much work to do. And so I'm all about being optimistic, and I think we do need to cling to hope, but I also don't want to rush to trying to put a bow on something that we really just need to face and sit with the discomfort of where we are in this current moment.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Me as a black man, I appreciate those comments right there, because I think we have rushed so much stuff, and I think that's helped us get into the situation that we're in right now. But I do see a glimmer of hope, because we're having these uncomfortable conversations now.
Yeah,
we didn't have them before. We would just put them behind, closed doors and maybe mumblings. But now we're having these conversations up front and in public. So I appreciate you for your words. So is there anything that you and ReCity are working on right now that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, to your point, I'll just echo what you just said, that clearly we're in a moment that maybe has not been seen for a long time, where there is this national fervor, right? This willingness to act. And I think that those of us who've been in the justice space for a while are maybe hedging our bets a little, maybe cautiously optimistic would be a good way to say it, of like, oh, we'll see, right? We'll see when we get sports back, when we're out of quarantine, like, are people going to move on when the news cycle moves on? Because you and I both know the news cycle will move on.
Yep.
And what are we going to do? It's at a peak now. Are we still going to be pursuing justice in the valley when we know the valley's coming? Are we just going to wait till the next black man gets murdered before we care about this again? So for me, Ed, what that looks like is trying to push for sustainable change. And I think what that, for us at ReCity as an organization, what that means is we got to center the people who are most affected by this injustice. ReCity's always been about that at 5 years of our existence, but now more than ever, we're trying to lean in to center the voices of color to lead us forward in sustainable, impactful ways. And so one of the practical ways we're doing that is through the Just podcast. I co-host an initiative that ReCity helped to launch this past year. We just finished our first season. I co-host that with Jess Aberhart, formerly of Leadership Triangle. She now has launched her own business venture, co-founder of Black Wall Street Homecoming. But we're trying to amplify voices that have been marginalized through that podcast. We're trying to mic up people to help center those who are most affected by injustice to be able to lead us forward. And so I've been really proud of that effort. We've recorded now 15 episodes. You can find those online anywhere you listen to podcasts. And we're trying to get after raising the money to be able to make season 2 happen this fall, because we know there's so many more stories that need to be told.
I absolutely love it. So how can people find you in ReCity?
Yeah, you can go online, our website, recitynetwork.org. That's where all of the information about ReCity's work and everything that we're doing as a network, but also where you can find, episodes of the Just podcast. You can subscribe to our newsletter, follow us on social media. You can give. We need people to sign up and join forces with us, because that's one of those wait and see moments, right? Like, it's easy to like things on Twitter, Ed, right? But we can't let it stop us at couch activism, right? We actually have to open up the checkbooks and invest in things like ReCity, invest in organizations led by people of color in the nonprofit space, in the business space. We talk about this current moment. If it has a root in economics, right, is why racism was created, with economic motive. It's going to have to take an economics to dismantle.
Exactly.
So I would say start there. Go on ReCity's website, plug in to support our work in building the ecosystem, support the partners work that are in our network give to them directly. Over 50% of the organizations that are part of ReCity's network are led by people of color. Now's the time to kind of put up or shut up, right? We got to put our money where our mouth is.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you and for those of you that are watching, I definitely highly recommend going to their website, ReCityNetwork.org, and follow them. Not only follow them, but sign up for their emails and blogs, because I get some information from them on a regular basis, and it's eye-opening, some of the information and the statistics that they push out there. So, Rob, I appreciate you affording me a little bit of your time today. It's truly been a pleasure. I appreciate your passion for wanting us to have a just community. I talk about ReCity often to people that have never heard of it, and I love the tagline on the door, rewriting the story of our city. So, I proudly represent Durham now that I live here, and we believe in Durham, but not only we believe in Durham, we believe in our community as a whole. And I'm looking forward to having a better, more equal community as a whole. So once again, thank you. This is Ed Dudley with We Are Connected. This has been another connected conversation with Rob Shields of ReCity. Thank you guys, and you guys have a blessed day.
Appreciate it.
And we are done recording, man.
Awesome.
Thank you. That was good.